And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. You know, you can see some natural sunlight coming in on my side because it's an early edition of the Doing All Right on this Friday. Yeah, y'all go do something like Friday night or something. Y'all go on a date or something. You know what I mean? We're going to do this early Friday. You know what I mean? We wanted to break down these players. And, Bryan, I saw some of these guys Wednesday. I was excited about them. I saw some of these characters Thursday, yesterday, and I was like, man, I can't wait to Friday to hear Bryan's opinion because I think we got a little mixture of guys here. We got some uniqueness amongst these guys, and I just told you backstage I got 2 foes. You know what? I got a 4, a pessimistic 4. I got a 5, and I got a pretty positive 5 that I feel about. Bryan, how would you think I got these guys stacked up, man?
I think you probably have got. I'm always with you because you're my offensive line guru.
Oh man!
I think you probably liked Connor Colby from Iowa first. I think then you probably liked Isaac Tesla from Arkansas next. I think you probably then liked Khalil Mullings from Michigan as a 5. And I think you put Tonka Hemingway at 5 because you're not sure where you're going to play him.
Man, Bryan, we get more and more interesting. Let me just say, first of all, I like all these players.
Sure.
I like them all. If the Cowboys take them at any given point, I'm like, cool, bet.
Yeah.
So the 4 that I'm struggling with, it feels like Khalil Mullings should be a 4.
Yeah.
But he might be a 5, but it feels like he's a 4. So I got him at 4. I'm still kind of struggling with him. Connor Colby, I got a 5 on him. I feel like he could be a 4, you know?
Oh, wow. I thought you might have liked him a little bit better than that.
I love him because he's all about what I'm about. He's the kind of guard I like.
Sure.
But I got him at 5 for, various reasons that we'll talk about here. I think Isaac Tesla is a bona fide 5. I don't want to move him from his 5.
Yeah.
And I got a 4 on Tonka Hemingway, Bryan.
Oh, do you really?
I got a 4 on Hemingway. And it's weird because I can be like a 5th round player is a better player than Hemingway, but Hemingway got traits, you know what I'm saying? And
here we go.
And how teams are going to for example, right? I may like Nick Nash more than Hemingway, but I got a 5 on Nick Nash. But I think Hemingway got all the traits that D tackle people are looking for.
Yeah.
But Nick Nash may not have the physical traits that you're looking for in a wide receiver. But I think he plays wide receiver better than Hemingway plays tackle. You feel what I'm saying?
So let me try and then talk it through your 4s of your 3 techniques.
Sure.
I thought you were going to struggle with Hemingway because you weren't sure to play him at end or you were going to play him at defensive tackle.
He's going to be both. I think he's going to be both. I think he's probably going to be, with a little coaching, I think he's going to be an odd front end, possibly.
Yeah.
I think in pass rush situations, put him in B gap and let him fly. I think on like rundowns, I think you could put him at like a strong side edge or something like that. He's a very lengthy dude, but he's very athletic also. But he doesn't look 280 though, Bryan. And maybe he lost weight to go do combine things or something like that, I'm assuming, but he looked like he's a guy that's probably going to end up being around like the mid 290s or something like that. I think that's enough for 3-tech, for like a rotational 3-tech pass rush he got. I think that's enough in this day and age in the NFL, as long as you don't have a power issue or like a length issue. And I don't think Tonka Hemingway got a length or a power issue. It's all like technique, consistency with him. Sometimes he get lost in the fight wrestling with folks or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's a really good, like stacking and shedding people. You really see him use that link sometimes. I just don't see him do it consistently. Like he's you know what I'm saying? I don't think he reads blocks all that well. You have certain reactions per certain blocks that happen to you. And sometimes he, gets a little high in his stance, you know what I mean? But if he works on that knee bend and, coming out the hips and striking consistently and finding the football, because after he'll stack and shed, he'll still have to go find it. I think if he just works on finding the football amongst stacking and shedding people, cool. But I don't want to just categorize him as a stack and shed guy, because I think as an athletic, probably a 290s, pounder or whatever, as a B gap upfield guy, I think he can penetrate and do that. So I think he's a guy that can play in any kind of whatever defensive scheme you're doing. I think he could do it all, Brian. And, I think he's going to be a mostly B-gap guy, sometimes 5-tech, 4-tech guy. What you think, Brian, about Tonka Hemingway?
Let me ask you about this. Him or your Notre Dame defensive tackle?
I got Mills in the fourth round. I got Mims in the high.
Okay, so
Mills, Riley Mills from Notre Dame is like a 1-4-2.
Okay.
Hemingway is like a 1-4-8 or something.
Okay, so he's trailing in that round.
Yep.
Okay, I like what you're saying about this kid. I think it's more about the scheme than it is about the player.
Possibly.
I think this guy's a tweener. I really, really do. I don't know, and that's my problem. I don't know whether to play him on the edge or play him inside. And I was hopeful when you said, "Oh, we'll play him at both," and I was like, "Damn, Voch, that doesn't help me."
That's the
trying
problem.
to figure this.
That's
this doesn't figure this player out.
Yep.
And I don't think he's a read and react guy. I mean, it looks like to me South Carolina is a get into it and try and kind of find, and
TJ Sanders, like Sanders has the same problem, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just kind of feel like that you said it. This guy just needs to use his quickness to shoot the gap and get up the field. Play him at a 3 and let him just get up the field. He has played edge. He has played tackle. You know what though, Voch? I watched LSU, Missouri.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like this guy really had great strength though. And I said great.
Right.
I mean, I saw him kind of get knocked around, and maybe it's because he plays upright, and then they're asking him to kind of find the ball, and maybe while he's trying to find the ball, they're pushing on him or knocking him or getting on him and stuff like that. And I think there were times where when he got connected, he just couldn't get off. He couldn't get off the block, and I'm thinking, well, it's a damn scheme. It's the scheme here. And, it's kind of like going back and watching Mozzie play. And this is probably a terrible example, but when Mozzie played at Michigan, it was extend, read, and then go. And now you're wanting him to play quick.
Yeah.
You're wanting him to play quick. Whereas his whole life has been read, and then go. And I wonder with Hemingway, if they're struggling with him. Do we play him at edge? Do we play him at tackle? And I wonder if he's going to have the same problem in the NFL, where he should just be a 3 technique and let him get up the field and let him rush. Yeah. I think he needs to play on the move. I just don't see a guy that anchor down in there and play toe to toe with bigger blockers. And I just, because of the pad level, I think the pad level is bad or I shouldn't say bad, poor, because he's trying to read and find the ball.
Yeah.
And there are times when he could become like a one-dimensional pass rusher. And I was like, man, where are the hands? Where's the grab, pull, rip, dip? Where's all that? But I just don't think this guy can win on his burst alone. I think he's got to come up with some other things to go along with it. I think he needs a little bit better plan executing. I just really don't know where to play him right now. But if I had to lean on one or the other, I would play him as a 3 and let him get up the field and be that guy. That's his best chance. That's his best chance to have some success in this league. I got, the way my 3 technique guys are in the 4th, it's Peebles, Farmer, Pegues, Mills. I got Hemingway in the 5th. He's the top of the 5th round for me. So if you're thinking about him as like a 1-4-8,
yeah,
I've got him more as a 1-5-0. So we're not
close.
Too far off. You would just, if you had a 4th, you would consider him before I would.
Yeah.
That's how I think this, but I've got those other 4 ahead of him. And that's kind of where I think he is right now, because again, I'm not really overly sure where is he going to be a better player? Once he just focuses in on one position, is he going to be a better player? I understand the flexibility, but man, I think there's some unknown for me there, and that's why I'm in the top of the 5th.
Maybe he's one of those guys to where, maybe he had a lot of jobs, and the more that he thinks, the more he kind of gets lost.
There's no doubt.
But maybe,
no doubt.
Maybe if it's just simple and he has like 1 or 2 jobs, then maybe he could just fly and play freely.
I think that's where it's going to have to be. This is going to have to be playing the outside shoulder of the guard and go. Yeah. Just don't worry about. Just go. Don't pop up. Mm-hmm. Don't try and extend. Don't try and find. Just go. Yeah. And there's some guys in this. There's some guys in this draft. I mean, that's the one thing. If you're playing in one of these schemes where it's Matt Eberflus and those guys from the Rod Marinelli days of getting up the field, if you're a read and react guy, that might not be your cup of tea.
I'll tell you about Connor Colby though, Bryan Broaddus. I'll tell you what I like about Connor Colby, right? Hey man, nothing makes me smile more. I don't like all this new football, all this new athletic guard stuff. You know what I mean? I don't like all this finesse guard, 290-pound guard. I'm not here for that, man. I want to see a 310 plus guy, and I want to see you look for finishes, Bryan.
Right.
Nothing makes me happier than an offensive lineman looking for work and looking for finishes. Bryan, I think this dude plays with a high level of physicality and ass whoop. I think he wants to always stir some fight. I think he wants to impose himself amongst these D linemen that he's going against, Bryan. Sometimes guys can be more feisty than they are powerful. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't call him like a powerful guy. Like he's not. I wouldn't call him like a Tyler Booker pusher. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But with the power that he has, he's gonna give it every single go that he got. He's gonna play with a high level of effort. I don't really see him. You know how we look at Mimbo and we were like, man, Mimbo's just not mean enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think this kid Connor Colby got some good little meanness to him, and maybe with some weight room, maybe with some technique stuff, and a little bit of knee bend, I think you might be on to something. So now I'm looking at Connor Colby as a traits guy. And he got all the traits that I like, Bryan, from a guard standpoint. But sometimes he'll let guys get into his frame because he's hot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or, they'll get in and they'll kind of throw him off balance. But when he does when he bends his knees and he's low and those elbows are tight, he'll drive you'll see him every now and then, Bryan, and he doesn't do it consistently. He tries to do it, but he doesn't all the time. But you'll see him drive a guy, and if he can put you on skates, he'll keep you there for 8-9 yards and get you. And many of these Caleb Johnson runs,
absolutely,
they right off his butt, Bryan. They right off of his B gap. I think he's a really good combo guy. I think him working with his center, whoever his center is, and I respect the Iowa offensive line a little more. Just watch them a little bit. They run those damn combos to perfection, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
When he gets to the second level, I do think he has an angle problem. He will kind of overshoot the angle a little bit.
Overshoot the angle, yep.
Just a little bit. But if he does engage with the linebacker, he's going to punish him.
Right.
He's going to punish him if he does. So I call this a high upside 5, Bryan, because if he was a couple of different, coaching points away, he could be a 4 guy. I like him a bunch.
Sure.
But he has traits that I absolutely love. So I got him in a, like a high 5th for me, maybe sort of like if I take him into 5, I'm good to go. Let's work on these handful of things in a year 2 or 3. He's taking TJ Bass's job, and then he can work up from there. But that's kind of where I'm at with him. Connor Colby, guard from Iowa. Bryan, go ahead.
No, I think you nailed this kid. I was trying to think, could I put him above Jonah from Zona?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, please.
I was thinking, is that the possibility? with that. I think he's a much better athlete
Mm-hmm.
than what you have with Jonah.
Yeah.
I think he's better than our guy Kandra was at Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Rivers from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are kind of different guys. I was trying to say, I mean, I really do like what you're saying about this kid, the athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's made multiple starts all along this offensive line. He's played right guard, he's played left guard, he's played right tackle. You know, I don't think he's, and I agree with you, I don't think he's the heaviest guy weight wise at 309.
Right.
But when the foot movement and the positioning, he plays very light on his feet. And I kind of feel like that you mentioned about the effort to finish blocks is really there. He'll stay on that man one-on-one, you know, playing him while he's on the move. I think he excels with the double team block stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Matt, this might just be an Iowa thing, as you mentioned. But when they double team, they get some movement. They had a touchdown in the Iowa State game with Johnson where it was center, Colby, tackle, tight end, and Johnson. They just blew that thing open off the right side, and it was. I mean, every one of their blocks was just bam, 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 and then it got Johnson just right around the corner and up into the end zone. So he's one of those guys that, like I say, he does the combo and just seamlessly he just gets to that second level. And he has an idea where he's going to need to go. He locates that guy. But as you mentioned, when he gets in trouble, he'll overset or he'll have to adjust back.
Yeah.
That's when he's scrambling to kind of get back in position. That's some of the stuff that happens to him on the pass block too. Good set. And then all of a sudden, we jumped outside a little far. Now the guy's inside on him and he's having to scramble back to get to the inside. So I think he's got some strong hands, the pad level and the strength. Sometimes to handle a bigger guy across from him, you see him kind of get knocked around a little bit.
Yeah.
But he does have a good pass set. He does play with balance. He's ready to strike with those hands. His base could be a little wide, and sometimes if you get a little wide base guy, he's not able to adjust, back and forth. But he seems to be okay doing that. I love his experience, and I love the ability of him playing in space. I'm usually with you on that 309-pound guards. Yeah. I think you want a bigger body guy inside. But man, the athletic ability, if this guy plays like it is, you talk about the pin and pulls and things like that, the lead block stuff. This guy is at 6'6", 309. He could do the things you want him to do to play in space. I have him in the 5th round. Like I said, I was trying to think with him and Jonah with Jonah from Zona. Mm-hmm. I was, as I kind of taught myself as we go through this right now, he's a better player than that kid.
Yeah.
And he should be on my board in the 4th round. And as I've read this report and talked through it, I'm going to put him there. So I'm putting him in the 4th round on my board.
Yeah.
That would be Connor Colby, the guard, right guard from Iowa.
Yeah. He gave the Iowa State kid fits, Bryan.
Oh, there's no question.
He gave those dudes fits. And, I guess the only thing that was keeping me from putting him in the 4 is that when guys get in his frame, he loses some of his power. You know what I'm saying?
He'll lose some of it. That's right.
But man, if you just, hey, what the hell coaching for, man? If you just don't let him get in your frame and just bend your knees, you know what I'm saying? Work on that pad level, because he can get a little high sometimes. But you're not wrong about the athletic ability, man. You're not wrong about none of that, man. So and the combos, I'm glad both of us mentioned it.
Oh no, he is. It's almost like when you watch Terrence Steele block.
Yeah.
One of the strengths that Terrence Steele has, because he's such a good foot athlete, is when him and Zach Martin would combo, it just was natural.
Yeah.
It's just, there wasn't any falling off it's able to work your head, keep your feet moving, stay on your feet. And then he's not going to bully anybody, But man, the movement stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tried him at center. I just from the movement aspect. Yeah, you're going to watch him here as the right guard. Look at, I mean, that's coming off right there and then turning right, and knowing right the ball is going to go right behind him.
Yeah.
I mean, usually you don't want your guys to turn their butt in the hole like that, but
sure.
I mean, he was so quick to get to the linebacker there. Watch him right here.
Right.
Whoop. There he goes, right up. Boom, turn, pin the guy inside.
Every time.
There goes Johnson.
Every time.
Everybody's talking about Johnson's like, who is it that was saying, oh, he runs, he says the holes are wide open. The holes, well, that's why right there.
Yeah.
They got offensive linemen. That know how to combo block.
Hey, look.
They know how to get to the second level. And look at all, I mean, just.
Look, what that means to me, Bryan, is just draft Johnson and come back and draft him in the 4th. That's all that means to me. Take them both.
Exactly. Yeah, right there. Here we go. Yeah, just kind of
take them all.
Slide on over there. But yeah.
Fun study, really man. And Bryan, he was probably my favorite guy to watch, man. But maybe I started thinking about his traits too much. But nah, man, that dude's a dude, man. So I might put him in the 4 also. Bryan, let me ask you this: Do you think that we should push Jonah to the 5 or just leave him to the low 4s? Because I have my guys ranked as just like guards and centers are together. You know what I mean?
Oh, you got them together. See, I have them separated.
Just interior guys.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed the past couple of weeks is with your center from Ohio State, and now our guy from Iowa, I keep pushing Jonah down now, and now it's like Jonah in the 4th, and like the next guy is Luke Kandra in the 5th. So now I'm just wondering, like, is Jonah from Zona really a 4th round guy? I'm gonna leave him there. There, but I'm just finding new guys that are just pushing Jonah down now.
Yeah, the thing about it is, I mean, I'm just looking at Jonah's notes right now. At 324 pounds, I thought he moved pretty well for that size. They ask him to pull. They ask him to play in space. He's got some initial quickness, but he plays so tall.
Yeah.
I mean, but the wider he has to go, the more trouble he gets into. And this is as a tackle. So he's stronger. I think he's stronger than Colby. I don't know if he's the athlete, but he's 324 pounds. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave him in the 4th.
Sure.
Somebody is gonna like him because of he's 6'4", he's 324, and they feel like that they can move him, and he will. He's got the awareness. He handles the twists and the blitzes and stuff like that. He just takes a little time. The range for tackle is not as good, and maybe at guard it might be a little bit better for him. And that's why I think a lot of people are talking about him at guard.
Yeah.
But if you want I don't know. I got to ask you this question because I think Jonah is stronger than Colby. Am I wrong by putting Colby ahead of him just for athletic ability? The Cowboys might see Jonah as a better fit just because of the strength or the mass.
You know what I tell you, Bryan? Even if Jonah is stronger than Colby, it doesn't look like it. He doesn't use it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want a strong, not looking to finish guy. I was very underwhelmed watching Jonah, and this was and we watched Jonah.
He was
early.
way early. Yeah,
we watched him early, and I remember how underwhelmed I was with him. Right, and you could tell that he does have power because he's sometimes with his power, but like finish somebody. Like I'm looking for Jonah to be aggressive and finish people. I didn't think he was a very aggressive blocker. He does have the mass that you want that you would want from Connor Colby, but Connor Colby, with the size and strength that he has, he's finishing people, and he's always looking to finishing people, and he's maintaining his blocks, and he's hanging in there, and he has a great foot. I'm putting him over Jonah from Zona.
See, this is where we have to kind of think though about, okay, if you're a Cowboy fan that's watching this today, and there's a lot of them, you're playing in a division that has big defensive tackles.
Sure.
Now, how do you get around that? Do they get around it with the pin and pull and angle blocks and stuff? Sure. It's what Arizona does.
Yeah.
They run zone, they run wide zone, they run gap, they run pin and pull, they run all these things.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that can kind of do all those things? I kind of think that in this case, that Colby does more than what Jonah does.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave them both in the fourth. I'm going to put Colby above him, and that's what I'm going to go with.
To answer your question, is to draft Booker and run right at him. That's the real answer. That's the real.
Yeah.
I told my audience the other day, man, nothing makes me happier than Jalen Carter being one of the best tackles in the league and Tyler Smith just dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? Nothing makes me happier than that. So if I can get another guy that can just deal with him a little bit, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, that Tyler Smith is a
special.
As they say, that's a cheat code right there.
Yeah. Man, Bryan, this Khalil Mullings kid, I kind of got mad at Michigan watching him. I was mad at Michigan. I was like, man, why y'all keep giving the ball to the other dude?
Yeah.
And I was like, how come Mullings can't get more carries in his offense? And I was like, oh, the quarterback throwing terrible passes to Mullings, and he catching all of them. He can catch the ball really well. Why don't we throw the ball to Mullings more? And I was like, why y'all keep asking him to lead block? Why y'all keep asking Mullings to go do fullback stuff, Bryan Broaddus? And Mullings will go in there and run with some good balance, run with some, with some good weight to his run. And if he has an opportunity, he'll break one open in the open field. Sometimes, they'll catch him here and there, but he'll break open and get you a big chunk run. I'm like, man, why don't they use him more on third downs? You know what I'm saying? Like, or if he's doing well running to the outside, why do they keep running him right up A and B gap like that, Bryan? I walked away watching Mullings just mad at Michigan, man. Bryan, he can break away, but I don't want to call him a blazer.
No.
And he can break tackles, but I don't want to call him a tackle breaker in that way. He's a really good all around guy. I think he's a great pass catcher and a great pass blocker too. I don't think he's a Travion Henderson level pass blocker, but he's better than some of the pass blockers we've been watching lately.
No. There's been some guys that we've been your guy that you're trying to sell me on from Delaware. You're telling me all about, you and I got in that argument about our guy from Delaware.
Bryan, C is passing. Okay. He's a C minus blocker, but that's passing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I wanted to give you a tip of the cap.
Hell yeah. What happened?
Your boy,
Krosky Merritt.
Krosky
going crazy out here with no 2025 tape. Come on, man. With one game in 2025, going crazy. Hey, Bryan, you gonna listen to me one day? I think he gonna be all right, man. Krosky Merritt, the dude, man.
I think he's gonna get picked in the third round.
He going right in the third. That's exactly where he going, and we gonna be like, damn, boy, ain't no way, old crazy Voch. Old crazy Voch knew about Krosky Merritt.
One game scouting. Congratulations. Well done.
I watched 6 games because I'm a fan of them, but I had to go back in time. I had to go in the past.
You had to go back in the time machine to get it.
Back in the time machine.
That was impressive though. God,
what you want me to say, man? Hey, but look, he hasn't done anything yet. We haven't seen him.
I know, but God dang.
But if he go crazy, I'm gonna get you.
He goes crazy. You're going to remind me of Krosky Merritt all the time.
I'm gonna let you.
That was a hell of a workout. I gave you credit on Twitter.
Yeah. I saw.
I said that's Voch's guy. He's like, man, what about this Krosky Merritt? When somebody works out, it's kind of like people are surprised. It's like, don't you gotta watch our shows? We talk about these guys.
We talk about
we talk about these guys. I mean, sometimes guys, the former scout guy doesn't really like have him very high, and
it's okay.
The other scout guy has him like, I'm telling you, man, you need to watch this guy. You need to and then all of a sudden he does that workout. The first thing I thought of was you. First thing I saw those numbers. The first thing I thought of was you.
I don't have a Lombardi to point to. You know what I'm saying? Because I
might have to take mine down. I might have to take that. I might have to take that picture off. You better take that one. You better take that one. That was a long time ago, I guess. But no, this kid. I will say this about Mullings. So, he is a former linebacker.
Okay.
He was a linebacker, 6'2", 226. There was some talk he played bigger, size wise or weight wise at Michigan, but at the combine, he measured 226 pounds. I wonder if some teams, Voch, are going to see this guy as a fullback.
He does a lot of lead blocking, so maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. And you mentioned it about the targets, only 8 targets, but 6 receptions.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's nifty. I don't think he's elusive. Straight ahead, he runs through everybody. He's a hard guy to bring down the ground. His running style is just a physical style to it. He has that mentality for yards after contact. Just bam, just lower the shoulder, keep the legs moving, keep going. He protects the ball like it's his best girl. I mean, he is in a ton of collisions, and he holds the ball tight. And you know, he's, like I said, he's not using the system where he's a pass receiver. But man, you know, I was impressed. He doesn't have long speed, but he does finish some runs. You know, and this is where I think that people might like him. I mentioned about the linebacker stuff, or excuse me, the fullback linebacker stuff. This guy could be maybe a really good special teams guy for you.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the fact that he has that linebacker background. And what's the one thing that the Cowboys never seem to have? They never seem to have a running back that go and play special teams, other than Hunter Lipke.
Right.
You know, and maybe I know there's probably somebody that's going to put in the comments, well, what about? And I'm like, okay, but this guy has that linebacker background. When we started talking about guys that were going down the board, I mean, when you talk about the depth of the draft, and Mullings is one of those guys that I would draft this guy.
Sure.
I mean, he's like a 5th round guy. I would take this guy, and he might go earlier than that just because of what I talked about: the physical style, the untapped potential as a pass catcher, and then linebacker mentality on special teams. This guy he's kind of got all that to him. And I could see somebody looking like we would in the 5th round. You know, give me some traits. Give me some traits for a guy. Mullings from Michigan. A lot of traits in day 3.
If anybody wants a really good game to watch his Northwestern game. You know, that was
no question. Yeah.
That's really one.
Yeah. They've had enough. They had enough of him.
Yeah, they use him as a main back in that game, so you can really get a good feel for who he is in that game. I also watched Illinois and a little bit of Texas. I don't know why he didn't play a bunch in Texas, but I watched that game too.
They lost the game too.
Got their ass whooped too. Brian, why don't you tell us about our tall? He like 200 pounds or something like that?
Oh man, let me get to that. I'll get you the exact. I think he's 6'4", 214.
6'4",
is what he is.
214.
214.
He don't look 6'4", 214 on film, Brian.
That's what that's the measurables you have at the combine on the young man.
What does he keep? He look like a tall, slender guy. You know, he
is a tall, slender guy.
He's 214. Go ahead, dog. Arkansas. Tesla.
I'm just good. This is the bold statement for the day.
All right.
This is one of the best athletes I've seen on tape.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, this guy is one of the best. He started his career as a quarterback at Hillsdale College before transferring to Arkansas. So but you just watch how he moves and stuff. He's really, for this guy that's 6'4", 214, he's got that ability to find space, to the route running, the sharpness to the cuts, knows how to manipulate the secondary while he's running. Man, we've got some guys in this draft that are what I like to call 70-30 ball catchers.
Yeah.
If it's 50-50 balls, no. I think that I think that McMillan, our kid from Stanford, I am Manure.
Yep.
I mean, there's some better than 50-50 ball catchers in this draft. I think this kid's one of those.
Yeah.
He'll go high, he'll go low. The body control, it doesn't matter. Middle of the field, along the sidelines. He plays inside as well as on the outside. He's tall, so he's not going to look quick off the line. He's just not. But he can cover some ground with his stride. Is always good at avoiding contact, but manages to get open. I mean, he is a quarterback's dream in the way he makes plays. And Arkansas's quarterbacks have not been good throughout his career. He's dealt with quarterbacks that throw the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
And so he's had to kind of deal with that. But he's one of those guys that I really respect because he plays hard no matter what the scoreboard says. You could always see him making catches. You can always see him running routes. You could always see him trying to make plays, even though his team's down by 25 points.
Yep.
I think if this kid gets with the right quarterback, he could be a real weapon with his ability to receive the football. I really do like this kid a lot. And I love his toughness and the way he plays. I'm trying to find a way. Can I get him in there with the group of Bryant, Hudson, Higgins, and Nash, that kind of group? I really do like Williams out of Washington State. I've kind of got him in that with Williams. Half him ahead of Horton from Colorado State.
Yeah.
But man, this kid is probably, I wouldn't be surprised if people do have him better than maybe in that group with Bryant, Hudson, Higgins, maybe in that group, Nash. We've talked about Nash. This kid's a nice player. And I think if he gets to with the right quarterback, he's going to have a really productive career.
Yeah, Brian, I have him in that Higgins, Horton, Williams range. He's right up in there with those guys. I got him in the fifth, Brian. And I hate that Arkansas didn't use him more. Like, was he a hurt guy or something like that? Or something?
No, just their situation at quarterback was just always not great.
Okay.
Not great. And so there were times where you watch him play and I know you saw him play. I went back and did something like, man, this kid catches the ball too well. But you're watching him make, like, I remember just the first time I ever saw him play was in a TV game against LSU.
Yeah. And
this was a couple years ago. And I was like, God dang, he's just embarrassing our guys. I mean, and the quarterback, I can't remember the kid's name. Jefferson, I think it was his name.
Yeah.
Jefferson, kind of a guy, big, burly, kind of lumbery, but athletic, but ball's going all over the place. And this kid's making every single catch and just getting whacked.
Yeah.
But he's catching the ball. And I respect him for that. I think that, I think you got him right in the fifth. I have him there too. I've got him in that area with, like, say, with Horton and Williams from Washington State is kind of where I'm looking at him right now.
He caught a lot of high passes, man. High, low, whatever. And you could see him. I think he's really good at the top of his routes. That's where his suddenness comes from. Like, I don't see him set it up throughout the whole stem, but right at the top, that's when he'll give you something. So it's very tight end, like how he kind of gets away from you. And then he just catches all the passes, Brian. And he routinely is making like one-handed catches because the ball's so far away or the ball's so high.
And down the middle of the field where he knows where he's going to get hit, and he's trying to. Sometimes you put your hand up on a poorly thrown ball and it's going to be an intercepted.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't allow that to happen. I really do like Isaac Tesla. I just think someone's going to take him, and you and I are going to look at each other and go, depending on the quarterback, we're going to go, boy, that's a really nice pick.
Yeah,
because the kid's got he's in that range with some other ones that are probably not the fastest, probably not the quickest, but they're tall.
Yeah,
they're 6'3", 6'4" range type of player, Horton and guys like that.
And honestly, I was worried about how he would run, but I watched the A&M game and he had a big play over there, and he kind of got away from those guys on one of his big touchdown plays or whatever. So I was like, I guess he can run a bit, but I wouldn't call him a blazer or anything like that. But I like the player. We don't have enough evidence to really thoroughly. You know what I mean? Because I would like for him, more usage from him. But he's a traits guy right now, and I think if you get him in the fifth, I think he'll be good to go. He'll be good to go.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey man, cool little show, Brian Broaddus. Cool little day. I am officially at 170 players until I send you a new list of 10 or 11 or 12. So
you and I are dead tied right now.
Right at 170.
So 170. So yeah, you get us another list, and we're getting close. I know I'm just, like I said, I'm going to carry this thing to 200. I do like your plan about keeping the board tidy.
Yeah.
And then everybody else, you got a spot. And if you get selected, I'll give you your props. I'll give you your due for getting drafted.
Sure.
But I'm not going to let my board get all cluttered up.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
But man, we're getting close. We're inside a month, right?
Inside of a month. Yeah. We got 31 days, I believe. We're right at 31, 32.
Yeah.
So hey, it's
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm ready to get this thing going though.
Yeah, me too.
But you know what? I'll tell you what, something, Voch, real quick.
Yeah.
We're still finding players though.
We are. And that's
it
the
hasn't
cool
got
part.
to the point. Right?
Yeah.
It hasn't got to the point, and I give you credit for the list you're putting out, but I haven't got to the point where I'm like, why am I watching this guy?
Right.
Why am I watching this guy? And we haven't got to that point yet, so we'll keep battling.
Yeah,
we
will keep on doing it. Now, Bryan, is there a certain group that you kind of want to get more, more names in?
I'm going to be honest with you, since you're not giving me a homework assignment yet.
Okay.
I'm going to knock these quarterbacks out this weekend.
Okay.
I'm going to knock them out.
All right.
I'm going to put my big boy pants on, and I'm going to see if Jackson Dart is really as good as Shedeur Sanders. Okay. And I'm going to see if this Louisville kid is really as good as people say he is. I'm going to watch the Missouri kid. So I'm going to knock out some quarterbacks this week.
You want to do 10 of them? 10 quarterbacks?
For the week?
Yeah, we'll just make it a homework assignment. 10 quarterbacks?
Let's get them. Let's do them.
So that'll be like Ward, Sanders, Milroe, Howard from Ohio State, Leonard from Notre Dame, Dart from Ole Miss, Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. Yeah. That could be Ewers from Texas if you want to.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Kyle McCord from Syracuse and Tyler.
A lot of people like him.
And Tyler Shaw from Louisville. You think that'll be a good comprehensive list for the quarterbacks this year, Brad?
I'll tell you what, if you give me those names, I'm gonna look at them all. That my project this week is to knock out quarterbacks. So if we're at 170, that'll take us to 180.
Yep.
And then the last 20 are guys there's probably 20 more guys that we need to look at that deserve our attention.
Yeah, and that'll be our 200, and we can just kind of freestyle from there and just watch guys.
And we just hope that Tommy Yarish and Nick Harris and Zach Wolchuk can pull their weight in this thing.
Because we 200 in. Oh man, shouts out to the draft.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised when you're watching. We're doing that draft. You'll be surprised in the 7th round they'll take somebody.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I am the absolute worst about this, because Kyle will try and just pass over him. But if I spend an hour watching a kid,
I'm gonna say something.
And I'm gonna damn say something. I'm gonna tell you what I think about. And that Minnesota Viking team might have drafted that guy, but I'm gonna tell you about that player.
Yeah.
I am not gonna sit there and just let players that I've done scouting reports on go silent.
Yeah. Bryan, let me tell you something. If it's a week that I miss on a bunch of prospects, it's gonna be quarterback week. It's gonna be. I might miss some guys on court because I can't stand watching them. But I will do it for my audience, and I will do it for the sake of when we're on the draft show. I'm very competitive.
Yeah, we need to talk about. And Dallas is talking about potentially drafting one of these guys. Yeah.
They talking about drafting Michael Williams. I got no faith in them people. They got to show me, Bryan. Hey, we love y'all to pieces, man. Thank y'all so much for doing the homework and tapping in with us. Y'all, please give us your thoughts on the players that we talked about today. And if you have a order, then cool. I encourage you guys to watch the 10 quarterbacks that I just mentioned. We'll do it again. I'll send Bryan a list, and we'll let y'all know the 10 guys. But the 10 guys I just named, that's as far as I'm going. Now, if Bryan want to go
this is gonna be a rough week of evaluation.
Oh, it's gonna be a rough week. I'm gonna be tired as hell, but it is what it is. We're gonna watch 10 quarterbacks and get to 180, and we're gonna boogie. Y'all please follow me at VOCHLONBARDI and Bryan Broaddus on his social medias as well. Y'all hold it down. We love y'all to pieces, and enjoy the early show. Till next time. Crown.